Hey, my name is Joey Felder, and I will be talking about the late Harley Earl. Harley Earl was just he's a big time car designer that a lot of us don't know about, but yet we drive his cars around, but we don't know who makes up the cars. But most of the cars that we drive around today, and in this century that we're driving now, most of those came from Harley Earl. Harley Earl came up with a lot of designs that will blow your mind that you wouldn't think somebody can think about, and where he got them from is what blows my mind. For the past week, I researched a lot on Harley Earl. There's so much that I didn't know about Mr. Earl that I know by researching him. I'm sure just like me, none of you probably didn't have a clue who Harley Earl was, but that is okay because I will be sharing some things that I learned about him to you. Some topics I would hit will be about Harley Earl, is about the successful things he did, and how it is the car designs he came up with also. The first thing I would like to do is inform you a little about Mr. Earl before I get into what the accomplishments he did in his life. Harley Earl was born November 22nd, 1893, in Los Angeles, California, into a family of coach builders and body makers. It was his father who pioneered and owned Earl Carriage Works. His father was a big influence on his life about making cars. It was his father's factory that he received his early training and practical experience. It is also where he honored his designing and drafting skills. He received his education in the public schools of California and his formal training in the arts and science at Stanford University. Harley Earl authorized the Frank Hershey design for the 1948 Cadillac, which incorporated the first automobile tail fin inspiration. For the fins came from the Lockheed P-38 fighter jet back in the war, and it still extended beyond the war. During the age when space rockets captured the popular imagination in 1950s and 1960s, a few years later, influenced by the English and the European sports car design, race on road racing circuits after World War II, Earl decided that General Motors needed to make a sports car. Design's work on the project Opel began as a secret project though that nobody knew about until the late 50s. Harley Earl is the father of the Corvette. The Corvette was a high, pure, simple idea that nobody expected somebody would make. He was influenced after World War II watching Jaguars and MGs run down road racing courses like Watkins Glen. He felt America needed its own sports car, which it did, and it convinced GM to develop its own expensive two-seater. He first offered the project to Chevrolet General Manager Ed Cole. Cole accepted the project without hesitation at all, and the car was offered to the public in 1953 as the Chevrolet Corvette. Harley Earl was known for all the popular car designs that he came up, imagine including some big-time cars like the Chevrolet Corvette, the Pontiac, the Oldsmobile Starfire, the Firebird 1, Firebird 2, Firebird 3, and many more Firebirds that we now drive today. And there are 100 more cars that he designed. My favorite car design has to be the Batman Mobile. I didn't know that Harley Earl was the guy responsible for designing the Batmobile car until I researched him and all the cars he designed. Today we also know Harley Earl as being the best car designer ever with Ford, Cadillac, Chevrolet, and the list goes on. In my conclusion, I learned a lot about researching Mr. Earl. I learned about two of the top cars they designed, and the reason he came up with designs was because of the war. And looking at the war cars that he seen, the airplanes, stuff like that, he looked at the cars, the airplanes, and took some of the designs that they had on features on those, and used it on his ideas of his cars. Hopefully, you learn as much as I did about Harley Earl and about some of the cars he designs. If you didn't, you also can go research Harley Earl and do your own research on him and find more because there's plenty more information about Harley Earl. Thank you.